Welcome back to Mixed Method Research series number 4. I think you are enjoying the rest of the series. I've published the series number 1, series number 2, series number 3, and this is now series number 4. The one that I'm going to talk about the integration of qualitative and quantitative in your mixed method research. And I've actually termed this video at the meeting point. So as a recap, I talked about the research methodology, which I referred to as the missing puzzle in, in video or in series number 2. Then in series number 3, I talked about picking up your strategy, which is picking up your research design in series number 3. And I just want you to take note that I'm using some of these words like the missing puzzle and the pick up the strategy, so that you don't forget whenever you are writing your paper, whenever you are writing your thesis. You should not forget, or it acts to remind you that there is something that you need to include or you need to discuss. And the research paradigm is one of them, as well as the mixed method designs are also part of your things that you should include. Then you should not forget to provide rationale for both the research paradigm and also for mixed method design. Don't just take things for granted. You just tell the reviewers, or you tell your chair that you are using the mixed method, but you don't want to explain to the chair why you are picking those designs. So in this video, I am going to introduce 3 considers. I will call them 3 considers, or the three things, and you can guess what those 3 things are. The first one being the priority, or the priority. You need to make sure that you specify or the dominant approach, or which approach carries the dominant weight in your study. In the event that you want all the approach to carry equal weight, then you need to make sure that you write them qualitative plus quantitative, all in capital letters. Then we know that your strategy is to make use of both approaches on equal footing. Let me put that way. Then, in the event that you want to use, you want to give greater weight to qualitative, then you need to write qualitative in capital letter plus quantitative in small letters, which is also the case, or vice versa, when it comes to the situation, or when you want to give greater weight to quantitative, then you must write quantitative in capital letter and the qualitative in small letters. So by doing that, you are actually telling us your priority, which research approach is going to be the dominant research approach. That is what you are addressing by writing in this, or by writing these formulas. So it's very important for you to take note that whenever you are using mixed method, you can choose one approach to be dominant, or you can choose all approach to carry equal weight. Then the second consider is the sequence, and this actually aligns with the research designs very well. So in the event that you want to collect both quantitative and the qualitative data at the same time, then that is aligned with the concurrent or the convergent research design. If you want to start from quantitative followed by qualitative, that's the explanatory research design. If you want to start from qualitative, then quantitative, that is exploratory design. Then you can also use both quantitative and qualitative at the same time, and as well as in sequence. So you can actually go out there, collect data at the same time. Then when you, after collecting the data, then there's something that you discover that, oh no, something is, I need to drop one methodology, focus on one methodology, then I'll pick the other methodology at a later stage. So you might drop qualitative, for example, then you do quantitative, then you move again to qualitative, then you analyze data. Then in times you discover that the data that we now have, you want to drop quantitative, then you start from quantitative to qualitative. So you just move in between your approaches, and that design, we call it nested design. I did not talk about this design because I felt like it introduced a lot of challenges to the students for you to understand what's just need to be done, because there are so many phases that you need to go through for you to be able to understand or to apply this method design in your study effectively. So I encourage you guys to, if you are good enough with the research, you can go ahead, use it. But I also want to encourage you not to go to that design, because it actually can complicate things. Then this diagram, I took it from Caswell 2012. I think start number one, that is when you are giving equal weight to both the approaches, then you write them in capital letters, it's shown. Then also if you are giving a greater weight from quantitative, and they're starting research from quantitative to qualitative, that's how you can write it as shown in study number two. So the plus sign, it indicates the simultaneous or concurrent collection of quantitative and qualitative data. Then the arrow shows the sequential collection, whether you are using explanatory or exploratory sequential, then you can actually use an arrow to show. Uppercase letters indicate priority or increased weight, which is this similar case with the lower cases. They also indicate lower priority or lower weight. Then the third considers that I want to introduce is the meeting point. It's very important for you to know that you need to make sure that the two method, the qualitative and quantitative research method or method of inquiry, at some point in your study, we want to see them talking to each other. We want to see them coming together. We want to see them meeting together. And the points or the levels that they meet, we call them the integration levels, which I am actually referring to as the meeting point. Surprisingly, when I was reading Caswell 2012, he seemed to have omitted this element. But in 2009, he discussed the concept under the heading mixing, which is he just talked about it in just brief on page 207 if you want to go and read more about this. And I understand why he did not talk much about this element in depth, because the mixed method is one of the emerging method of inquiry, and most people they actually, most scholars are now starting to come with more ideas. They are starting to build up, and the integration concept is one of the most recent element that has actually been introduced in the mixed method. And you discover that most supervisor doesn't emphasize that integration level or the integration of the two. But you need to make sure that they actually integrate. We want to see that. We want to see quantitative and qualitative research actually, or mixed method, in your mixed method actually coming together, because you are carrying a single study, but using two approaches. So we want to see that happening. We don't want to see two studies in one. We just want to see a single study that you have used two approaches. So there are three levels that the integration normally takes place, and the first level being the design level. We talked about the design level a lot. The design level, that is the sequential, and that is the exploratory, that is the nested, that is also the concurrent. So at those level, if you choose those design to guide one of the design to guide your study, one way or the other, if you do it well, we will see the two meeting. Is either from quantitative to qualitative, or from quantitative to qualitative, whatever the case that you would have done. Then we also meet the data, or integration can also happen at method level. And at method level, the integration normally occurs in four ways, which is the one, this is we have got the connecting, the building, the merging, and the embedding. And in connecting, we are saying if you use a certain population to you administer your questionnaire to a certain population, then in the process of administering your questionnaire, you identify, for example, key informant. And in the second phase of qualitative, you use the same people that you have administered your questionnaire to for interviews. Then it means you are connecting quantitative and qualitative. Then in building and the building, we are just referring that the finding from one approach. If you start from quantitative, we are saying the finding from quantitative now informs the data collecting procedures, including the design of instrument for quantitative. So there is actually building there, because we are using the results from one approach to inform data collection procedure and analysis for another approach. And when we talk of merging, we are saying we are bringing in both qualitative data and quantitative data together, then we analyze it at once. But this merging, it actually possesses a lot of challenges, because it needs someone who has a good skill to analyze data, especially both the types of data, quantitative and the qualitative data. Then the embedding, of course, if your data is, if there is integration in your study from design, method level, and the last level, which is interpretation and reporting level, then there is actually embedding that is actually happening there. So it's very important for you to show us that if you have chosen your data to integrate, or your study to integrate or to meet at the method level, you need to show us either one or two of these integration levels or integration ways. Then the last meeting point, which most students love, that is the interpretation and the reporting level. And this level is preferred by most students because they don't choose the design level. So, and they don't also choose integration at method level. So the only point that they will be left with to integrate the two studies is interpretation and the reporting level. So it's very important for you to take note of that. And so we have got three levels that you can actually meet, that your quantitative and qualitative approach can actually meet. So yes, we have got the three considers. That is you need to consider priority, then you need to consider the sequence, and you need to consider the meeting point or the integration level for your study. In the next lecture, I will be talking about interpretation and reporting level. Most students, they face a challenge when their data, or when the data from two method of inquiry contradicts, and they actually don't know what to do next. whether to proceed, how should they write, and this is some of the things that I will be talking about in the next series, series number 5. Thank you for listening to this video, and I encourage you to subscribe to our masters and doctoral degrees tips and tricks, and I also encourage you to make sure that to make or to persuade one person to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are growing, and together we can promote academic excellence by using technology and innovation. Thank you.